what are the characteristics of kiddos in stage 1? They're using semantic roles and relationships. Okay? And this is something when you worked through the toddler period, you saw a lot of discussion about semantic roles and relationships. Okay? Stage 2 MLU between 2 and 2.5. Age range here is about 2 to 2.5. What's happening? What is a defining characteristic at this stage? Kids are starting to add morphemes, bound morphemes to their utterances, which is increasing the complexity of the utterances. They're also starting to add some free grammatical morphemes like in and on, some of those locational terms. So they are modulating, the text uses the term, they're modulating meaning by adding those bound and free grammatical morphemes. What do I mean by modulating meaning? Well, I could have a cookie, or I could have cookies. And that plural modulates meaning. It lets me know it's not just one, but it's more than one. Okay? At stage 3, we see the MLU between 2.5 and 3. The age is approximately 3.5 up to about, 2.5 up to about 3. A big characteristic of this stage is sentence form development. So you really see complete sentences emerging, subject, verb, objects, types of forms, in the declarative sentence forms. Stage 4, MLU is increasing. The age range we'd see typically kids being within this stage. And what's a defining characteristic is now kids are starting to embed sentence elements. They're increasing the complexity of their sentence by adding things like prepositional phrases, using complex sentence forms. This is incredible when you think about it. That kids go from semantic roles and relationships about 1.5 years of age, and by the time they're 3, 3.5, 4, you're starting to see complex sentences emerge. When you think about that time frame, it's not that long for how much grammatical development is taking place. In stage 5, again, we see the MLU increasing, and one of the notable features here is the joining of clauses together. So we see advancements in things like compound sentence development. Make sense? Any questions on that? So again, one way we can assign a ground stage is on the basis of MLU. The other ways we can assign ground stages are on the grammatical morphemes that are used, which I'll also talk about. We can assign stages for their level of noun phrase, verb phrase development. There's an asterisk next to that because we want you to be able to talk about how a child expands upon their noun and their verb phrases. So we do expect you to think about that. We're not going to explicitly ask you in this class to assign a stage on the basis of their noun phrase, verb phrase development. Okay? So you do want to understand how noun phrases and verb phrases are increasing in complexity, how they're developing, and be able to talk about it, similar to what you did in that assignment. You're not, though, going to be required to say that's a stage 4 noun phrase development feature. Okay? For the others that do have numbers, we will ask you to assign explicit stages to those developmental examples. Another and final way we can assign a ground stage is on the basis of how the child develops sentences and sentence elements. And this includes how their declarative sentences are structured, how their interrogatives or questions are structured, how negative sentences are structured, and also sentences that have more complex structures, like compound and complex sentences. And those, Catherine will be talking with you about that piece, and you'll be explicitly thinking, what stage of an interrogative sentence development is something like, why she is crying? That's different than, why is she crying? And we'll see that's a developmental change that kids go through. So I'm going to focus on 1 and 2.